We have started our programming lesson last day, and I just said you, like I just explained you about solving a problem by analyzing a problem. So before solving a problem, we need to analyze that, right? That is the basic. And when analyzing, we need to identify three things. If you can remember, that is basically common to any information system, that is input, output, and process. So if you can analyze the input, output, and process very well, then the problem analysis phase is successful, right? If you can correctly identify the inputs, outputs, as well as the processes. So any kind of, right, any kind of problem, in order to solve that problem in the analysis, we need to identify what are the inputs that we need to give. And here, so you can see invoice. In order to calculate the bill, so what are the inputs? So what are the inputs we should give in order to calculate the inputs? Yes? In order to calculate the bill, actually, sorry.
The price of the price and the item and the unit price.
Yes, you need to give item, amount, and the unit price. Item and amount, number of items, as well as these are the inputs. So if you give that inputs, so you can find out the subtotal actually. So let's say 200 pages book, if amount is 1 and unit price is 150, 150 into 1 is 150. And 80 pages books, if it is 4, then 4 into the unit price is 55, 4 into 55 is 220. Then you can find the subtotal. Finally, by adding these subtotals, so you can find the total. Finally, by adding these subtotals, you can find the full total. So that is how we analyze and solve a problem, right? Okay, so before we begin, right now we know, so we just learned about the NIC system last day. So how can we get inputs from this NIC system and how can we calculate the date of birth? So we have used your parents' NIC number and calculated the date of birth as well as the gender, if you can remember. So that is what we have done last day, right? So, okay. Then we have just calculated we have calculated date of birth, day, month, and year, and also the gender through NIC by analyzing this. So only input was, there was one input, that is the NIC number, but there were a lot of information in the process. In the process, we identified and then we presented the output. Okay, this is very simple problem again. So let's say you are given a task to find the total subtotal of pens, and if the cost of pens is given, number of pens is also given, so then you can multiply the price of pens by the number of pens and find the total. Simple enough. Okay, so we learned there are like in grade 7 we learned, not grade 7, in grade 6 even, 6 and 7 both, we learn about three control structures in programming. Can you remember them?
Yes.
So what are they? There are three control structures.
Selection and repetition.
Can you repeat again?
Okay, sir. Selection, repetition.
Okay, yes, it is sequence, selection
And repetition.
Repetition. Yes, sequence, selection, and repetition. Sequence, selection, and repetition. Can you explain each? So what is sequence?
The sequence is carried out one after the other in a consecutive order. Selection is deciding between two things.
Two or can be multiple.
Yeah, two or multiple. And selection, sequence, and repetition. Repeating the same thing again and again is repetition.
Yes, that is good. So that is how you can explain that. Sequence is basically where the instructions are executed one after another in a sequential or in an order. So selection is where you have multiple paths. Out of this multiple path, you are going to select one path. For an example, let's say you are going to calculate the biggest number or the largest number. Or let's say you have two shapes like this, and you are going to find the biggest shape. So let's say these are the two shapes, and so let's give names. This is N1, let's say this is N1, and this is N2. These are two shapes. So in order to find out which is the largest and show the largest shape, we have to compare. If N1 is larger than N2, so you have to select N1 as the largest shape. If N1 is not larger than N2, then N2 is the largest. Is N1 larger than N2?
No, sir.
No. N1 is not larger than N2 means which is the largest then? N2. Yes, out of this you have to select only one option. So that is selection. So let's say there's another one. Let's think there's another one, that is N3. There's another one and N3. So now, first of all, you have to compare N1 and N2. So N1 is larger than N1. Sorry, is N1 larger than N2?
No.
Is N1 larger than N2?
Yes, N3. N1 is smaller than N2. N2 is larger than N1. N3 is smaller than N2.
Yes, first of all, you have to compare N1 and N2. N1 larger than N2? No. N1 is not larger than N2. Then you can drop N1. N1, you can ignore this because N1 is not larger than N2. You can ignore. Then you are comparing N2 and N3. Is N2 larger than N3? N2 larger than
N2 is smaller than N3.
Yes, N2 is not larger than N. Then again, you have to ignore N2 as well. Then the remaining is N3. So that is the largest. Likewise, when you have multiple options, selecting one option is called selection. That is the second control structure. Repetition is very simple. You repeat the same instructions again and again, doing things again and again. So that is called repetition. So, okay, I would like, if you miss this in your previous grades, you better write down this, right? Because like if you miss this in previous grade, otherwise you can, like if you know this, you can ignore. But in case, like if you miss in grade 7, just note these points only. So about these control structures. So those who know, you can like ignore this, no need to write down. But those who don't know, I recommend you to write down this in your book. Because there are some students who miss grade 7. No? For them, I would like to give this part because this is not there in your grade 8 note. This is there, this was there in grade 7, but not in grade 8. Therefore, I would like if you can write down this quickly. Okay, the next important thing is, so let's implement this now using Scratch, right? Before that, you have to load Scratch. So if you have not installed that, don't worry, you can use the online version. So if you have installed in grade 7, you can use the same. But if you are not done, don't worry, let's use the online one, right? So I have sent the online link to your chat. Online link chat. So please use that link and open this Scratch interface. No need to download. Let's do this for today. Next day you can download, right? For today, let's do this using the online version. Okay. Start creating. Just click start creating. There. So it will take some time to load this screen based on your internet speed, but anyway, it will take some time. Sometime it might take even 5 minutes. Okay, so let's close this. You can close the tutorial. I hope everyone loaded this. Next, let's see what this each option does. Actually, we learned this in grade 7 again, but I know some of you cannot remember the things that you have learned in grade 7. නේද? 7 ඉගෙන ගත්තේව මතක නෑනේ දැන් නේ. අපි දැන් 6ට මොකද 8ට ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ 8ට ආවම 7 මතක නෑ. So is there anyone so I'll ask small question, right? So this is there in the school syllabus නේ. So when you are in grade 8, you can't remember the stuff learned in grade 7. When you are in grade 8, especially you cannot remember the things that you have learned in grade 6, right? But let's think like this. How many of you can't remember how to walk? How many of you cannot remember how to walk? Okay, how many of you know how to walk? Can you raise your hand? If you know how to walk, can you raise your hand? Only two know some.
What, sir? Can you say again?
How many of you know how to walk? Right. Actually, when you learn this, there are some still they cannot remember. When you learn how to walk,
When we were very little.
Yes, like when you're like 1 year old or 1.5 years old, you learn that, right? But still you can remember, right? Still you are using it. So
Yeah.
that is what the learning is. That is what the true education, right? Education must be useful. Actually, one time Einstein said this. So education is what remains with you after one has forgotten what you have learned in the school. Once you forgot the things that you learn in the school, what remains with you is called education. So that is not me. That is Einstein, right? Yes, Simon? Yes. Education is actually what remains after one has forgotten what they have learned in the school. This is not me. This is Albert Einstein. Actually, Sir Albert Einstein. He's a great philosopher and scientist. Yeah. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in the school. So that means you have education in walking. You know how to walk. You know how to talk. You know how to eat. You know how to drink. You know how to write. That is your education. But unfortunately, or fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know, you can't remember the stuff that you have learned in grade 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is not very good education then, right? Anyway, so you need to remember these things. Why each of these sections are used. Motion, that is showing movements, like change in location. So if you change the location, that you need to mention in the motion. Looks, that is the basic way of providing output. A visible, some outlook. So some difference, something presented in the street as output. Sound, you know that is simple. Events, something triggered, like some change, something happened. That is called event. Control. So basically control structures, repetition, and selection comes here. Sensing, the way to take inputs. Operations, processes, variables, way to memorize something in our main memory. Blocks are actually a set of code segments or defined code segments or functions. Okay, so shall we write down? I think that most of you cannot remember this seems, right? Okay, so please write this heading. Write in stretch codes. Write in stretch codes. Sensing. Actually, we take inputs to sensing. Sensing. Right, you can say obtaining or getting inputs. Then the second thing is looks. Visual outputs. Sounds. Sound. So UND. Audio outputs. Then control. Control structures. Such as selection, within bracket you can write if else, and repetition. You can say repeat, forever, all comes under repetition. Then events. External triggers. You can say mouse click, key press, background change. So these are the external triggers, right? Flag click. Then variables. Memorizing change in values. Or memory locations. Then my blocks, functions, or prepared code segments, which can be reused. I'll explain this, right? So please write down for the moment. I'll explain these things. Operators, arithmetic and logical processes. So these are the things in the stretch string, right? So have we missed anything? Motion, motion. Change in string location. Changes in string location. Motion, look, sound, event. Okay. Please write down this quickly.
Sir, we didn't do sound.
Sorry?
We did. That's a sir, we did it.
Mentioned all, right? So there is a program given in your book, and let's convert that into. So now we learn about this. One more thing. I hope you can remember the symbols that you have learned in grade 6. Can you? So what are the symbols? Yes, in the flow chart. So how start and stop is displayed? What is the symbol?
Oval.
A circulated rectangle or an oval.
Yes, oval or rounded rectangle, correct. Then inputs, outputs?
Parallelograms.
Parallelograms, Samantarashtra, parallelogram, correct. Then process?
Processors are rectangles.
Rectangles.
Rectangle. Then decision?
Diamond.
Diamonds. Data flow? Data flow? Arrows. Yes, arrows. So remember these things, right? That's why I say you have to continue the lessons that you have learned in grade 6, right? This was
Sir,
behind the grade 6.
Connectors are circles, right?
Sorry, connectors are circles. Yes, connectors are circles. Connector, I think it's not available in the book, grade 6 book.
Yes, sir.
Sir, but when you were giving something to write, you gave us that the connector is a circle.
Yeah, I gave. That is true. The connector is circles. That is correct. So in case if you cannot remember, these are the symbols we learn in grade 6 flow charts. Start and stop is a ellipse or rounded rectangle. Rounded rectangle or ellipse, start, stop. Input, output, both will get a parallelogram, this one for the input, output, both. Then rectangle for process. Decision is a diamond. Data flow, arrows, and connectors, multiple path connection. Connector is a circle, small circle. So these are the symbols. Okay, let's convert this program. Actually, I'll do small change. In addition to here, you can see number of pens given as 5. I need actually a variable number. So for any number of pens, I need to calculate this, recalculate this for any number of pens. Okay, let's do this now. Right. So first of all, I have to start with events now. Anything that need to be started with some event. When I do something, when I click the flag. Okay. Then what I need to do, I need to take the input. I need to take the input. To get the input, I can use sensing because I explained already inputs, getting inputs done through sensing. I have to sense and ask. I can ask a question. So what I can ask? I can ask enter number of pens, or you can make it simple. You can ask number of pens, and date. And the answer that is given by the user can be captured. When you click on the flag, you can see it will ask enter number of pens. Then you can enter that. Actually, that is captured by this answer. When I tick this answer, you can see it is 23. When I click the flag, if I press 12, press enter, it will be captured, and the answer here you can see it is 12. When I tick the answer, you can see that here. Right? That answer you need to save somewhere. How we can save something? Using which? Yes. Can you save something in motion, looks, sounds, events? So what I should use to save something?
Variation.
Yes, if I want to remember something, the method is remember something, memorizing here. Memory location, that is variables. I have to create a variable. Let's go to the variable. Create a new one, make a variable. Go to variables and make a variable, and let's put pens. Okay, here is my variable. Now I can set that pens to the answer.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I had a connection issue, sir. Just now I clicked the link, sir. The screen is I don't know what to go on to next. What should I click, sir? Okay.
Which screen you got?
The scratch.
Ah, so what you have to do is you have to start. So check the colors first. So I'll repeat if you miss it, but the thing is like, please try to concentrate. And so you have done this in grade 7, right? So remember that you have already done that in grade 7. That is what I said. Anyway, first you have to go to the events. From the events, when flag click, then sense in, ask the question. You have to ask the question, yes, what you have to ask, not what is your name, you have to ask number of pens. So then the answer, you need to take the answer and save it into a variable. You can say, I have made a variable called pens. So let's set that pens to the answer given. Okay, do this now, please. Please do this now. Only this part. So very simple. Please do this part now. When flag click, number of pens.
Can you show the folder for a second to take a screenshot?
Okay, done. So if you have errors, issues, difficulties, you can share the screen. I have allowed you. Yes, you can share the screen. If you are done also, you can share the screen. If you need help also, you can share the screen. I have given the chance, please take it. Tania, okay. Tania, yes, you have done that, right? Okay. Okay, so anyone else? Good. Okay, can you share with it?
So is my screen visible?
Yes, okay. Anyone else? If you need help also, you can share. Okay, good. Yeah. Right. So shall we update this? Shall we update this? I need to ask another question. So second question that I need to ask is the price of the pen. Yes, price of the pen. I need to ask price of the pen. So shall we update? Price of the pen. Anyone? Yes. Who has done that can share the screen now. Yes, price of the pen. Who has updated? So I have taken number of pens. Then I need to ask. Yes, Senuka, can you share? Price of the pens. Come on, put this. If you are done, please share. Okay. So, but price of the pens, you have replaced the previous one, Ashni. I need to keep the question, the previous question, and add a new question. You need to add a new variable, right? New variable as well as a new question. So anyone else? Yes. Anyone else? Okay, number of pens is there, then the answer is taken, then price, no, you can't manually take the put the price. You have to ask a question and get the price. Ask another question, yes, using that. Ask another question and get that price and set it to the, yes, that way. Here. So let me show that as well. I can right click and duplicate. Here I can right click duplicate because I need to ask another question. So let's take a duplicate. Right click, duplicate. And then instead of the pens, I can ask another one, price. Price. Then I can set this to price. And here also I can ask price. Now I have two questions. The first question. So let me remove the answer because it is senseless, right? Answer incorrect. Then I can see the price as well as from the variables. I have to get the pens. Pens and the price. Pens and the price. Okay. Price and the pens or pens and the price. First, it will ask number of pens, let's say 12. It sets here. The price, let's say 40 rupees, and so that sets here. Right now, I have two questions, and based on that, I need to calculate. Based on this, I need to calculate the total value. That is another variable. I have to set another variable as total. So then I can set that total to what? How I can calculate the total? If I know the price as well as if I know the number of pens, then how can I calculate the price?
Price into pens.
Price into pens. Then what should I use? Price into pens. There is a process. Processes are there in, that is a mathematical process. That is there in. Read that and tell me. Price into pens.
The mathematical processes are there in operators.
Operators. Then into multiplication, which one?
Sir, the third one.
Answer.
First is plus, second is minus, third is asterisk. Asterisk is the multiplication. What I need to multiply? Price and number of pens. Yes, that I can refer to these variables. I can say pens into price. Pens into price. That I can set here. Pens into price. Pens into price. Okay, total is equal to pens into price. Finally, you can display that total. So see how simple that is. Display that, say total. That's it. So when I click the flag, it will ask number of pens. Then the price. So it will multiply both and tell me the answer. If you want this answer to be a sensible answer, you can do another operation, that is, you can join it. Join, yeah. But you can join the total and you can add special message. The total is, and the total can be given. So then the output has some sense. Number of pens, price, and the total is this. Okay, so let's update the program now. Once you're done, you can download it, file, save to your computer and save it. Then next day, when you want to take that back, you can go back, file, load from the computer and open it. Right? Save from computer will allow you to save. Load from computer will allow you to open. Do you have any doubts up to here? Anything? Any doubt? Any?
So I had a connection issue, sir. Again, I have a poor connection, sir. I couldn't understand how you got this total thing. Set total to that.
Yeah, I have used operation. Multiplication, then multiply pence by price and then take the total. So that is simple. That is not hard mathematics, no? So if you know the price of the pen and number of pens, then you can multiply them together and assign that to total, right? Only thing is I have taken this, then I put variables, pens, as well as the price, check the colors. Then after that, I set that to the total. I can get this set total now, because total is another variable. Then I just drag and drop it here. That's all. Is it clear? Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, okay, let's see what you have done with it. So can you share? First of all, can you share? Okay, this is why this manual values? Price pen 60 plus 15. So what is that? What is that, Tania? $250. So what are these figures? Yeah, I can see, but so why these manual figures? That's why I asked. Price into 60 plus 15. So what's the mean? So you have to, like, when you are creating programs, I know that you can understand this very well and there's a meaning of this, but you have to make sure that the viewers can also understand your coding, right? That you need to keep. Otherwise, just put in values won't give you, like, you can do this, I know, but the thing is you have to make it sensible, right? Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, pens. Oh, can you put the values and see, please?
Wait,
You just multiplied the, like you just done the, which is in the book, right? So,
yes, sir.
but I said that we need to change that. I said that we need to change that and we need to add another question without manually putting the number 5 there. Add another question and ask the number of pens. Right? Please update that to the version that I said, right? Because in the book, it has like half. It is partial. That you have one thing manually. Is it always 5 pens? No. It can be variable, different number of pens. Okay, this has all these things. Rehansa, please see this. This has all this number of pens, and as well as the price. So both are changing. We cannot fix one thing, right? We cannot fix the number of pens. It is not always 5. That is why I'm practically speaking. So whatever the example given in the book is wrong. Not wrong. It is partial. Therefore, please update to this version, right? And add that to the note. Okay, Moad, your one is okay, correct? Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, no one. Right, I hope that you have done. Anyway, all of you need to do this today. So if you are doing this practically only, you will understand, right? Then all the power issues, the power issues. I think the power problem is solved. Right now, this time no power cut seems, right? I'm not sure. But anyway, this time it seems no power cut. Anyway, so what you need to do today, you need to do this practically. Why? The reason is when you do this practically only, if you are doing this practical way only, you can understand this very well. This is like walking. If you walk only, you can understand.
Yeah, I made several games in Scratch.
Okay, good. Yes. So there are some students already practice this. This is good. I'll give you a chance to show those next day, right? Okay. So keep it ready and I'll allow you to show that to your friends also. Right. Anyway, please complete this activity and please go through your book. And there are some other activities too. And try to complete that activity also. There are few activities listed there. Right. And I'll be explaining this next day. The remaining part I'll be teaching you next day. Then good night. See you all next week.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.